Hi, my name is John Moseley, and this is a little bit about my background. I was raised in Carlsbad, New Mexico. I was raised in a very much broken home. My dad tried to impart Christian beliefs into me at a very early age, and so did my mom, but my dad was definitely the closest person to me, and he was definitely the most influential person that I knew, and I definitely, as a kid, took a lot of his words to heart. I was super close to my mom, but I looked up to my dad a lot. And so I didn't really go to church. I was very much a backslidden type of person. I only knew the bare minimum about Christianity. I remember yelling and getting into screaming matches with my dad and my mom about how I just hated life, I hated living, and if they're, as a teenager, as an angry teenager, my bad philosophy was, if there was a God, he didn't love me because why was I put through so many bad things? And it was such a selfish outlook because in the grand scheme of things, especially as I've gotten older, I knew my parents loved me and they provided for me, but when you're 13 or 14, you're definitely you're looking for an excuse to be different. You're looking for an excuse to be angry. And I was. And it wasn't until I was probably around 14 or 15 when I was taken out of the 6th grade academy, and I was then enrolled into the school, Faith Christian Academy. I remember my second year going, I met a girl named Serenity Elizondo.
It's on the edge, right? Something like that. I remember meeting this kid named John. I didn't know anything about him. He kind of just had a quiet demeanor, didn't really talk much, just didn't really hang around. And I remember when I got to know him a bit more in school, when we used to do PE or different projects or stuff like that, just getting to know all the kids there. He just kind of seemed like a sad person, I guess, not really somebody that you'd want to be around. You just kind of would be like, oh, that person kind of seems quiet or doesn't really want to talk to anyone, just is a loner. That's what my first impression of him was just a loner, didn't really want to be around anybody. And the more that I got to know him, I realized that he kind of was just a sad person, and we became friends, kind of got a little bit closer. Me, him, and Alejandro, we were kind of just our own little friend group in the school.
And she just very much was kind to me. She showed me, what a Christian could be like. She never judged me for my different point of views, because at the time I claimed to be an atheist, but now that I look back at it, I wasn't really an atheist. I knew Christ existed. I knew that he had died for me, but I just didn't want to admit it because I was angry. I was a hateful kid. I didn't understand why all this would be happening and everybody else had a, good life, but it's only until you're older do you realize not everybody has a good life, People have stuff just like you do. And I just remember being so angry. But once I met her, I became friends with her because she was friendly and she didn't make me feel like an outsider for not sharing the same beliefs at the time.
We would hang out a lot, my mom would take us places. And the more that I got to know him, I realized that he didn't have the best home life. He didn't really want to open up. He didn't really want to talk to people. He was kind of just ashamed of the person he was. I wanted him to go to church with me and Alejandro, and I remember Alejandro also trying to get him to go to church, and he just didn't want anything to do with it. He didn't want to go to church. He didn't want to get to know new people. He was just very reserved and was just like, no, I don't want to go to church. That's nothing that I want to be involved with. He claimed to be an atheist. He just didn't want anything to do with it. And I remember at the time I was kind of taken aback by it. I was kind of like, oh wow, like he really doesn't like church. He really doesn't like God. And it was something I didn't really know about. But I I realized that I shouldn't immediately just shun this person out of my life. I realized I still wanted to be friends with him, and I wanted him to go to church, and I was like, I shouldn't just push this person away because he doesn't want anything to do with God. I was like, I should try to get him to come. And it didn't discourage me, it just made me want to at least get him to go one time. I was just determined in my mind, like, all right, I'm gonna get him to go to church. That's what I thought. And as the years went by, he kind of visited off and on, but it was nothing really he wanted to do. He didn't really seem thrilled about it. He kind of just did it because I would keep bugging him about it. I would just be like, come on, we gotta go to church. We're gonna have a special Sunday. We're gonna have the fall festival. You gotta make it. And he would come, but it was never really anything that he was interested in. He didn't want to do it. He was just doing it because I wanted him to go.
I was just doing my own thing. And when I was probably around 17, at my worldliest, I was lost. That was the most lost I'd ever been. I'd started dabbling in marijuana and stuff like that. And I just didn't care where I was going. I didn't care if I went to hell. I didn't care. That was the best way to put it. I didn't care about myself. And right about that time, my dad got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I had already been a caretaker in my life multiple times. I'd taken care of my grandparents, and I'd taken care of even more grandparents for years. Caretaking was all I had really known at the time. And so I became a caretaker. I dropped out of high school and I just started taking care of my dad, and I remember being so angry. I remember walking out of the hospital when he got diagnosed and just screaming and yelling and screaming how angry I was at God. And then I remember trying to pray, and I was foolish. I remember screaming that I wish God would just give me the cancer and take it away from my dad. And I was just angry and foolish. That's the best way I can put it.
I remember him being really distant and really distraught in this time. And I remember he texted in the group chat for the teen class to pray for his family. And I remember even thinking to myself, like, you don't even believe in God. Like, why are you wanting us to pray for your family, but you don't believe in God? And that really confused me, but I was like, you know what? If he wants us to pray for his family, then I will. And we all prayed for him and his dad. And I was like thinking to myself, maybe this will bring him closer to the Lord. Maybe God can use this situation for something good.
And so for about 7 months, I was just getting high as much as I could. I was taking care of my dad, and I was taking care of my Nana at the same time, and I was going to church when I could, but I really started not going to church as much, near the start of it especially. I didn't want to be alive. I started having suicidal ideation, just imagining every day not wanting to wake up, imagining every day that I just wish I would die. But knowing that I had too much to do in this world, that too many people needed me, my dad needed me, my Nana needed me, I just couldn't kill myself. And so eventually you just become a person who every day wakes up and imagines different ways he wishes he could die. And it was the lowest point in my life. I was just angry. I remember yelling at my dad, who was cancer-ridden and trying to fight his own battle. And I was angry. I was just angry at every single little thing that was going wrong in my life. And I started taking it out on my friends, mainly like Serenity. We nearly quit being friends at a lot of points during that because I didn't want to hear about Christ, because in my opinion, at the time, Christ had done this, God had done this.
And I could feel the Holy Spirit telling me, like, hey, you need to make sure he knows how to get saved. That's what I felt the Lord calling me to do, was to at least tell him how to get saved, tell him the gospel. One day I called him actually, and I was like, hey, and we were kind of talking, and I was like, if you died today, would you know how to get saved? And he was like, well, no, I'm not really interested in that, kind of the same answer that he'd always given. And I was like, well, I want to go through it with you. And so I did, and he listened, and I remember he said that he didn't want to get saved. He just dismissed it after that. He listened, but after that he just didn't want anything to do with it again. And so I remember I was like, oh, okay. And man, that went really bad. I was like kind of a little bit hurt by it, because I was like, okay, I know that I need to be a witness, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to go about it.
I just wasn't happy. And probably around my 18th birthday, my dad was just getting worse by the day, and I knew I needed to make a change. So around November, a month before my birthday, I had super long hair, and I got that cut, and I just started cleaning myself up. I quit getting high. My distinct memory is I don't want to be high at my dad's funeral. And so I quit smoking altogether. I quit everything, and I just started cleaning up my act slowly, because I couldn't take knowing that I was hurting the most important people around me. And when my dad did pass away, I just remember feeling nothing. I was emotionless. I didn't feel sadness. I was in shock. And I remember at my father's funeral, they were just talking to me like I wasn't normal. I didn't feel normal. And I remember Serenity and her mom, Jennifer Elizondo, came to my dad's funeral. They just talked to me like I was normal. They treated me like normal, and they treated me with such kindness, even though I had not been kind to them of those months. And I just remember feeling a change. There were multiple changes throughout that month, but that one was the biggest, where I just felt like I needed to start going to church after this. I needed to start trying to learn about Christ and trying to learn about the Bible. And so I did. I started going to church more. I started to just try to make friends with everybody at the church, and everybody was so supportive. I remember I came the Sunday after my dad died, and everybody was just so kind. They treated me like normal. They said they were sorry for my loss, and it was just so important to me, and so kind of them to treat me so kindly. And that really showed what a Christian spirit is. It really showed me the kindness and the forgiveness and just the openness that Christ can give you if you accept him into your heart. And so I was going for months and months, and I was slowly just getting closer and closer to salvation, until the Sunday of Father's Day. I was ready to get saved. And so I remember after that service, I went and talked to a pastor.
And I remember seeing him talking to pastor, and I was like, I hope he's asking questions. I hope he's actually listening to what pastor says. And I remember even praying inside my head. I was like, asking the Lord, please just touch his heart, move him. And he walked up after he was talking to pastor, and he said, I got saved.
I got saved that day, and I just felt a peace wash over me. All that anger that I had pent up, it disappeared. I wasn't as angry. I wasn't as stressed. I wasn't as nervous just about every little thing in my life. And it was just such a peace. And I remember I told Serenity afterwards, I walked up to her just so peacefully, and I just shocked her. I told her I'd gotten saved.
And I remember just being so happy, because it felt like after all this time, after all these months, I didn't see anything change. He was coming to church more and he was more open to it, but he didn't actually listen, is what I had been thinking. But I realized after that, God was working in his heart, and God was, just stirring inside of him. The Holy Spirit was speaking to him. He was tugging at his heart, and he was listening to the preaching.
And I got baptized, and ever since then, I've just been trying my best to be a good showing of what Christ can do in someone's life. From someone who hated life, from someone who wanted to kill themselves daily, from someone who couldn't even handle the simplest problems in his life, to someone that I think my father would be proud of, someone who I think he would have really appreciated. And it was in knowing that brought such peace to me about my father's death. And I just really wanted to share the fact that I think Christ can save anybody, because he saved me. I was an angry kid who had had a rough upbringing, and nowadays I do my best. I come to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. I read my Bible. I do what I can, and I try to step up into positions that I know need to be filled, because it's what I love doing. I love serving for Christ. It is one of the biggest joys I have ever found in my life. It is so fulfilling to serve Christ, to serve my fellow Christian, my fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. It just brings a joy to my heart that I can't fully explain. I can't fully understand even, but I know that I'm at peace. I'm a different person entirely than when I was just in the world. I distinctly remember when I was taking care of my Nana, after I got saved, she just told me that I was a different person, that she didn't realize how much I had changed. And I just remember, kind of in a joking tone, but I meant it, I said, "Isn't that the point? You're born again. You're a new person. You're a new man." And she kind of chuckled with me, and it was just a beautiful moment. I never would have found Christ if it weren't for the Elizondos, specifically if it weren't for Serenity Elizondo. She was so kind to me when I did not deserve kindness from anybody. She was there when I needed her. She was there when I was hateful to her. And she is my best friend. And she's a person that I look up to. She has shown me how Christ can use somebody to speak to someone and, get someone to come to Christ. And so even into my soul winning, I try to take that to heart, where I may not be able to lead someone to the Lord that day, but I'll be able to plant a seed, and that's what she did. She planted a seed in my heart, and it took years, nearly half a decade for me to get saved, but she was faithful through it all. She just wanted to see her friend get saved, and she did. I don't know where I would be if I wasn't saved. I think I'd be dead. I would have been dead. And I don't think it would have been an accident. And that brings me joy in my heart, knowing that Christ delivered me from that. He delivered me from those thoughts. I love life now. Like I said, I love serving the Lord. I love serving my fellow Christian. But most of all, I love being alive. I love the little joys that I never appreciated. Being able to go outside and look at and see what God had created. It's such an amazing thing to me, and it brings such a joy to my life that I can't explain. I just hope that everybody that I know that isn't saved can come to Christ through this video. And I'm so happy to be saved.